Let me say this, sometimes I joke a little bit, but if anybody gets their feelings hurt by anything I say tonight, it's a mistake on your part. Because I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, all right? But we're supposed to be discussing, we're not supposed to be arguing or hurting. But there's some facts we have to look at. Don't do the way we conduct ourselves this way. If I pray to an image, is that idolatry? Now, you were showing us tonight when we started, and I want to ask you, when you saw those people there, like that, do you think they are worshiping that idol? You think that? I looked at, when I saw the man laying, first time I went there, I saw the man laying flat on his face, like this. First, I know that man is very sincere. It doesn't matter that. Is he correct? Can that, you know, there's supposed to be some of the hair of Buddha under that stupa? Do you know that? Did you know that they have Buddha's tooth in the temple there in Yangon? You can go see his tooth. Do you think they worship the tooth? Or Buddha? Do you think a man whose tooth is there is walking around helping people today? We have to think about these things, brethren. And we can look at their religion and say, well, I'm not sure about that. Well, we're going to have to look at our own faith and see about things too. All right. Does God forbid us to petition the dead? Now, who was the last apostle to die? John. So Peter's gone. So John outlived Peter, correct? You could have talked to an apostle. But when he's gone, can you talk to them? Can they help you? They sometimes talk like they can. We've got to find out. But God says, and when they say to you, consult the mediums and the wizards who chirp and mutter. Should not a people consult their God? Should they consult the dead on behalf of the living? Now, this is very, very emotional for us, because I don't know about you, but when I remember my grandmother, I remember my loved ones that are gone already, it really helps me. I follow their examples and all, but shall I pray, say, grandmother, help me? Because I don't care what you're saying. If you're going to ask anybody who's passed on, whether you call them a santo, whether you call them I don't know what you call them, but somebody special, if you do that, you're thinking somebody on the other side can help you now. And if that's true, it's wonderful. Now, one thing is certain, they would want to, because they love us here, and they left the world loving us, and we left them loving. But can they help us? And if we make their picture, and we start praying to their picture, do we suddenly find that picture has power? All these things you have to think about, and not allow yourself to be mistaken. But he says you should not ask the dead on behalf of the living. That's God's prophecy. Now, Leviticus 19 in the law. Do not turn to mediums or necromancers. This necromancer are people who deal with the dead. Dead. Do not seek them out, so to make yourselves unclean by them. I am the Lord your God. And all the contrast in our subject tonight is this. You have no need to go to an object when you have the Creator who is available to you, and He wants to hear from you. He wants to communicate to you, and He wants to bless you. The wonderful thing about learning about Jesus. Okay, test question. What are the last words in the Gospel of Matthew? You can cheat if you want to. What are the last words in the Gospel of Matthew? May the God bless 11 words, I think. I think it's 11 words. The last thing in the Gospel of Matthew. Come on. It's always good to come. I know you got it. You know it. You know it. You memorize it. And Jesus said unto them, all authority has been given in heaven and earth. Go you therefore and make disciples of all nations, immersing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I command you. Who? What? What? Again.
No, that I am the Lord.
No. What does it say?
Though I am with you always, to the end of the world.
Now when he says lo, he says pay attention. Lo, I am with you always until the end of the world. Let me tell you something. I am not going to talk to the driver if I can talk to the owner of the car. I'm not going to talk to the tenant if I can know the man who owns the house. If I can talk to the president, I'm not going to talk to the secretary. And our Lord Jesus Christ is not dead. He says, I am with who? No, you. How long? Maybe not in the 21st century. It's not the end yet, right? Lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the world. So why in the world do I want to talk to some stump, some tree, some rock, some diamond, something, when I can talk to the creator of all things? I just thought I'd mention that to you. Did you realize that? So he says, don't go talking to the dead for the living. You got to, Jesus is not dead. If Jesus is not dead, he does not have need for you to substitute somebody else for him. Does he? Huh? If you're married to Jesus, do you need to be married to somebody else? I'm talking about spiritual. No, of course not. Am I shouting at you? What do you all think? Is that logical? This is who we are. Do you realize how unique you are in the world? You're the only religion in the world that had a great teacher who was a once wonderful teacher that ever lived. And his teachings are powerful even if you do not believe he's divine. I can prove that. My witness is Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi took the teaching of Jesus and told the Indian people who are Hindu and the Indian people who are Muslim, don't fight the British. Act like Jesus. Listen to Jesus' teaching, and he freed India using the teachings of Jesus. His only problem was Jesus was his teacher. He was a great teacher like Buddha. Buddha's dead. And for him, Jesus was dead, but he had a great teaching, and the teaching's powerful. But the difference is that you have a living Lord who teaches you and continues with you, and he is your advocate who wants to help you to go to be with him. You believe that? I'm not preaching at you. That's what I believe. Okay. But you say, you told me, Brother Wilkey, you're not supposed to go talk to the dead for the living, but King Saul did. Yes. Therefore we can. Really? Is it a mistake that he made? It's against the law. Because he was the one that killed all those people. Look, I said. And when Saul inquired of the Lord did not answer him, either by dream, or by Urim, which the priest had on his chest, or by prophets. Then Saul said to his servants, seek out for me a woman who is a medium, that I might go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said to him, behold, there's a medium at Endor. There's a witch at Endor. So Saul disguised himself and put on garments and went, he and 2 men with him, and they came to the woman by night. And he said, divine for me by a spirit, and bring up for me whomsoever I shall name to you. Why did he disguise himself? Because he's been killing them. And now he goes to one of them because he can't get an answer any other way. The woman said to him, surely you know that Saul has done, how he has cut off the mediums and the wizards of the dead. Why are you laying a snare for my life to bring about my death? Why are you trying to kill me? But it's Lord, he said. He swore by the Lord. As the Lord lives, no punishment shall come upon you for this thing. Notice, this man who has been away from God is now swearing by God. Then the woman said, whom shall I bring up for you? Can she really bring people up? I don't know. Do you know? If she does God send them or does the devil send them? Maybe in this case it would be God. He said, bring up Samuel for me. Samuel was the one who anointed him. And Samuel was the one who told him that he was rejected by God and his family wouldn't continue. And Samuel was the one who said, God's through with you. And the Spirit of God lives there. When the woman saw Samuel, she cried out with a loud voice. And the woman said to Saul, why have you deceived me? You are Saul. Why did she cry out, y'all? Not very professional. Why do you think she cried out? Do you think she was surprised when somebody came? Maybe she was a trigger. Most people are who are meeting. When they knock, when the table has a knocking, you look for some human being around the table, okay? The king said to her, have no fear. What do you see? And the woman said to Saul, I see a God coming up out of the earth. You gotta be careful that word God. I see a God coming up out of the earth. Now note, this is what Conadilly says. The king quieted her fear, then asked her what she had seen. Whereupon she gave him a fuller description of the apparition. I saw see, he says, a celestial being. Now the word is stegosaur, right in the Greek. Came up from the earth. Elohim, that is the Old Testament word for God, does not signify gods here, nor yet God, still less an angel or a ghost, or even a person or a person of superior rank, but a celestial, that is a super, off the earth, heavenly or spiritual being. In our country, we would think they saw a kugo, a ghost, no, a ghost. That's what we would think. That's what she thinks, okay? That's what these scholars, Tyler David said. He said to her, what is his appearance? So she said, an old man is coming up and he's wrapped in a robe. All knew that it was Samuel. He bowed his face to the ground and did obeisance. Look, it's like worshiping before Samuel. Then Samuel said, why have you done what? So before he was okay. If I disturb you, you are before I disturb you, right? Huh? Did you ever think about that? Where was Samuel? He was okay. Why are you messing my life up? Why are you messing my death up? You know, why are you messing my rest up? They're serving God to bring me up. No. It follows, no doubt, from this that Samuel had been disturbed from his rest by Saul. But whether this has been effected by the contrary art of the witch or by a miracle of God himself is left to undecided. You can argue about it if you want to. The fact is that Samuel had a message for Saul, and this woman caused him to be there to give it. Saul answered, I'm in great distress. For the Philistines are warring against me, and God has turned away from me and answers me no more, either by prophets or by dreams. Therefore I have summoned you to tell me what shall I do. Samuel said, why then do you ask me, since the Lord has turned from you to become your enemy? The Lord has done to you as he spoke to me, by me. The Lord has torn the kingdom out of your hand and given it to your neighbor, David. Because you did not obey the voice of the Lord, you did not carry out his fierce wrath against Amalek, therefore the Lord has done this thing to you this day. Moreover, the Lord will give Israel also with you into the hand of the Philistines, and tomorrow you and your son shall be with me. The Lord will give the army of Israel also into the hand of the Philistines. Where will they be the next day? In the realm of the unseen. We're going to leave it there because we're going to come to it a little bit more later. But see, they're not going to be in the land of the living tomorrow. Does this justify us going to a medium and trying to get a message from my dead relatives? Now, my auntie did that. She was a young woman. Her husband was killed in the war. And she went because she was so distraught, trying to get a message from my uncle. And I tell you, she never got a message from her. Those people are crooks and cheaters. They don't bring anybody back from dead. This does not justify us because we already saw that God said, do not do it. Now, Saul knew he wasn't supposed to do it because he'd been killing those people. So you cannot use this as a justification saying, well, yes, the dead can help us. We need to go ask the dead. If you think you can, you got to justify. I can't see it. It's against the will of God. Then Saul was full on the ground. He's not happy, filled with fear because of the words of Samuel. There was no strength in him, for he had eaten nothing all day and all night. The woman came to Saul, and when she saw that he was terrified, she said to him, behold, your handmaid has hearkened to you. I have taken my life in my hands and have hearkened to what you have said to me. Now therefore you also listen to me, your handmaid. Let me set a morsel of bread before you and eat, that you may be strengthened when you go on your way. She's good, isn't she? You know, she's no witch. He refused, I will not eat. But his servants together with the woman encouraged him to hearken to the woman. So he rose from her rest and sat in bed. She went and fixed him some food. When they ate, they had. imply most unquestionably that the woman saw an apparition which she did not anticipate, and therefore that she was not really able to conjure up departed spirits or persons who had died, but that she either merely pretended to do so, or if her witchcraft was not mere trickery and illusion, it had a certain demoniacal, that's from the demons, background. That the appearance of Samuel differed essentially from everything she had experienced and affected before, therefore filled her with alarm and horror. She didn't expect what happened. The very fact, this is a long explanation. She recognized Saul as soon as Samuel appeared, conclusively declaring her part to have been nothing more than jugglery and deception. For she said to him, "Why have you cheated me, or as thou art certainly Saul? Why have you deceived me as thy person? Why does it not tell me that you were the king Saul?" The recognition of Saul when Samuel appeared may be easily explained if we assume that the woman had fallen into a state of clairvoyance in which she recognized persons who, like Saul in his disguise, were unknown to her by face. Well, now it's supposed to be bedtime, but it's too late. We've had our break. Now, this story is told by Jesus. And I believe this must be true. It tells the story about a rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen, and who feasted sumptuously every day. At his gate, they had a poor man named Lazarus, full of sores. Since he has a gate, I guess he's got a big house, right? All right. Who desired to be fed with what fell from the rich man's table. Look who his doctors are. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. The poor man died and was carried by the angels to Abraham's bosom. Tell me something you notice in this story. Did the rich man kill this man? What did he do to this man? Okay, very good answer. Neglected. He didn't do anything to him. That was his sin, right? When you die, are you going to be like this man Lazarus? No? When you die, what's going to happen to you? Do you think that you're going to walk through a big river that's cold, the chilling waters of death? Have you heard those songs? Does this teach that? We're going to walk through the chilly waters of death. We're going down the valley of morning light. Is that what this teaches? What does it teach you? There's a mystery to me here. Look, here's what the mystery to me. What does angels do? They carried him where? To Abraham's bosom. And when you're going to Abraham's bosom, you're sitting at the chief seat in the feast because he's at the first table and you're leaning right by him. He's gone from nothing to being number one at the table in this place. Now, what thrills me about this, I don't know, I don't want to make any big thing about it, but look what we got to hope forward. If you are God's person, when it comes time for you to die, there's going to be a celebration someplace. Because what's happening? When Lazarus died, he who was nothing in the eyes of men was carried by angels to bosom of Abraham. By angels! Now, I like to joke a lot. How come was he so heavy it took more than one angel? Was his spirit so heavy? I don't know. But you know what? I don't believe then I'm going to walk through any shadowy valley or I'm going to walk through any deep waters or bitter river of death. Because it said when the guy died, the angels grabbed him and took his spirit to Abraham's bosom. Now, Jesus told the story. And he had a right to change things around on that other right afterwards, you know. Because now we're going to learn a little later what happens to us if we die. Okay? But what happened to the bad guy? Oh, I like to talk to this with taxi drivers. Because they'll talk to me and I'm a foreigner. So my wife says, don't talk about Philippine politics. And he'll say, how do you like our president? I wouldn't know that. You know? And they say, well, And I said, you know, Brad, I love the story of Luke 16. You know why I love the story of Luke 16? The instant the rich man died and was buried, and in Hades, being in torment, he lifted up his eyes and saw Abraham far off and Lazarus in Abraham's bosom. It's turned around. Lazarus was nothing in this world, but he was carried by angels to be with Abraham. But this guy doesn't have to be carried any place. He can go straight down. Huh? And I like that because I don't care how cruel how terrible, how cheating, how wicked a man is 1 second after he's dead. You don't call him rich man anymore. You don't call him sir anymore. You don't call him my most honored guest anymore. You say, Sayang. Na pangnana. Pobrena. Right? The moment he dies, he has nothing, and he gets exactly what he has deserved all his life. That's why I told tax revenue. I'm not worried about politicians. Let one of them die. We can smile. Because we know he didn't get that up elevator. He got the down elevator, just what he's got coming. That's what's taught here. Is that right? Well, maybe I should talk that way. But anyway, and he called out, Father Abraham, have mercy upon me, and send Lazarus to dip the end of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I'm in anguish in this flame. Isn't it strange that this man who did nothing for Lazarus immediately wants Lazarus to do something for him? Who is his number one interest in the world? It's himself, right? Make that guy come over here and serve me. But it's going to be Sayang again. Son, remember that in your lifetime you received your good things. That is in like manner evil things. But now he is comforted here, and you are in anguish. This is exactly what our Jesus taught us in the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are the poor. All right. And besides all this, now you pay attention to this. Between us and you, a great chasm has been fixed, in order that those who would pass from here to you may not be able, and none may cross from there to us. If I am not in heaven, you can't get me there. You all realize that? If I'm on the other side of that great chasm, I can't help you, you can't help me. Is that right? Is that what it's teaching? Now this can't be an error. Because if this is an error, then Jesus has nothing to tell us. This is Jesus telling us a story. And on the other side, there's not going to be any changing sides. Right or wrong? What does it teach? There's no changing sides. And he said, now look, this man's got something good about him. Then I beg you, Father, to send him to my father's house. For I have 5 brothers, so that he may warn them, lest they also come into this place of torment. That's a pretty good idea, isn't it? Can they do it? If we can pray to the dead to do something for us, it ought to be able to happen. But what does Abraham say to them? They have Moses the prophets that can hear them. In other words, they have their chance now, just like you had your chance now. And as much as he loves them, he is not in any way powerful to help them on the other side. Or do you have a different understanding of that? And he said, no, Father Abraham, but if someone goes to them from the dead, they will repent. Is that true, brethren? Jesus came back from the dead. Did everybody repent? We got a message to stand right here on the street in Cebu and shout, Jesus come back from the dead, repent. Will they do it? If they listen, they can. But see, he said, even if somebody did, they won't do that. Your brothers are in trouble because they're just like you. He said, if they do not hear Moses and the prophets, neither will they be condemned if someone should rise from the dead. Is that a cheerful story? What about it? Is that a cheerful story?
Yes.
Yes.
What did you learn in that story?
That
You know what? That's why maybe when you go look at the body of some Christian that just died, try and see a little smile on their face. Maybe they heard angel wings. Maybe they heard angel wings. I don't know if angel wings. I wondered if angels who are supposed to help people, I don't know, can't speculate about that. But I just kind of imagine the angels, bunch of them, just like a bunch of geese shouting, got one, let's go. Here he is. And he's mine. I help him first. No, he's mine. I'm going to take him. No, I'm going to take him. I get to put him there. No, I get. I don't know if they did it or not. But at least there were 2 angels. At least there were 2 angels. But nice for us to stop worrying about, oh, it's going to be so bad when you're there on your deathbed. It's going to be so bad because you're going to go through that old cold water death. No cold water death. The angel's going to grab you. You're going to be on the other side. Is that right or wrong? And if you're on the wrong side, when you go to the other side, you're not going to get off that wrong side. You're better be on the right side before you get there. And no matter how much my mom loves me, my dad loves me, they can't do anything for me there. If their prayers for me now, and their words to me now have not changed me, nothing's going to happen for me. I'm sorry. There's no such teaching in the Bible. Okay, war of the spirits of the dead. Now, why am I talking about this? Because when we make an image, when we make an idol, we make an idol of a dead, good person. You understand that? And we ask that idol, saying that we're talking to that good, dead person to help us. Do you understand that? Am I misunderstanding what we're doing? Are we not doing that? Every place we got our shrines. Am I not right? We're talking to a dead person's picture or idol, asking them to do something for us.
Pray for us.
Pray for us, okay? Right?
Pray for us and our dead. Amen.
I memorize that. I don't want to get into that because somebody's not getting angry at me. But my point is, this is what we're talking. This is why I'm not wasting time here. If the dead are not going anyplace and they're not going to interfere in your life, no matter how much they want to, you cannot imagine. If you are a father or a grandfather and you have a child that is not a Christian, or who is a Christian who is not living a Christian life, every day you will be doing what? Praying that they might do what's right. Because you're going to be gone one of these days. Okay. Where are they? Look at Revelation 14:13. And if you're going to talk about a funeral, a Christian funeral, look what you got to say. I heard a voice from heaven say, write this. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Yes, says who? Spirit of God. Let them find rest for their labors, from their labors, for their works accompany them. Wow. Where are the dead? They're resting from their labors. Well, why shouldn't they go on being troubled about all our problems as they were in their life? Because God won't let them. It's closed. Who are the dead? They're waiting. They're waiting for you. They're waiting for me. Revelation 6:9. When Jesus opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain for the word of God and for the witness they had borne. They died being a witness to Jesus. They cried out. Now it's wrong for them to have been killed, so they cried out with a loud voice, O sovereign Lord, holy and true, how long before you will judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth? Now, brethren, he did not say revenge. Avenge, which means show your honor, not my hurt. Your honor has been destroyed, not mine. So, do what's necessary to show your honor. But how long? What do you think God's going to do with them? You're going to say, yes, sir, I'll do it right now? Look, each of them was given a white robe. And they were told to be patient a little while longer, until the number was filled of their fellow servants and brothers who were going to be killed as they had been. You wait for the rest of them to get there. So what are they? They are resting and they are waiting on the other side. Where are they? You better memorize John 14, verse 6. I go away to prepare a place for you, that where I am, there you may be also. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go away to prepare you a place? He just said, no, you're not going to find any, no room here. No sign like
familiar homes there.
many. All right. Paul says, for we know that if the tent, that is our earthly home, is destroyed, we have a building from God. We're living in a tent, which is our body. A building from God, a house not made with hands. It is eternal in the heavens. For in this tent, our body, we groan. Why? We long to put on our heavenly dwelling. I don't want to get rid of my tent. I want my house to be put over it. But what's he saying? I don't want to. Wouldn't you rather be changed in a moment than tread line than have to die and lie your body rot and the time comes when God has to say, get up! Which he will. All right. All right. For in this tent we groan, longing to put on our heavenly dwelling. If indeed by putting it on we may not be found. What kind of naked? A denuded body. No body. You have no body. The spirit is away. The body. Huh? No body. All right. Now look, he's going to explain to you. For while we are in this tent, we groan, being burdened. Not that we be unclothed, but we be further clothed, so that what is, now see what he's talking about? He's talking about your body, because he says, what is mortal may be swallowed by life. He who has prepared us for this very thing is God, who has given us. Are you going to get it? When you young ladies and young gentlemen get out of college and you go to find a room someplace and you make a deposit, they got to let you have the room. Correct? Because you've given the money to prove you're sincere. And you young marrieds, when you get enough money, finally say you go buy a house and you give them that down payment, that earnest money, they know you're going to buy and you know they're going to sell. Because they got a part of the final price. And you know you're going to heaven because when you became a Christian, Jesus gave you a deposit. What is it? The Spirit as a guarantee. I am not always going to live in this tent, but I shall have a permanent dwelling for God. What's it like? 1 John 3 says, Beloved, now we are the children of God. It does not yet appear what we shall be. But we know this, when He appears, we shall be like Him, for we shall see Him as He is. That's your hope. But you're not going to be disturbed after you die until that last moment. So we're always of good courage. We know that while we're at home in the body, we're with the Lord. And so, do you believe this? We walk by faith, not by sight. That's why you're different than the rest of the people in the world. They can't understand. You're a bunch of crazy people. You don't live for the carnal things of this life. You don't live the same way they do. Yes, we are of good courage, and we would rather have what? We'd rather be away from the body, and we're I want to go Jaibalai. I want to go to my house. I've never been home yet. We're all homesick. You know that? Every human being is homesick, because that's why we always wonder and we never find our home, because our home is with the Lord. So whether we're at home or away, we make it our aim to please Him. Where are the dead? 3 possibilities: resting, waiting, and at home with Jesus. Wow. Now, let's go back just a second. Are we going to be being asked to help people here in this world? Suppose you get Brother Ken Wilkey's picture and you put it on someplace and Brother Ken, you're dead now. Will you help me? And I'm going to tell you nothing. My picture can say everything I can say. Nothing can be said. I believe that. Do you believe that? And why? That means we're helpless. We need some help and we can't get any help. That's foolishness. Lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. But wouldn't it be nice if we had our own little angel to help us? Sure, we need a little angel to help us. We need a servant to help us. We need a katulong. Do you? When you can walk beside Jesus, you tell me you want a katulong? Huh? Foolishness? And he said to me, these words are trustworthy and true. The Lord, the God of the spirits of the prophets, has sent His angel to show His servants what must soon take place. And the angel is talking to John, just as the book of Revelation is about to close. Okay, we're going to close too. And behold, I am coming soon. Blessed is he who keeps the words of the prophecy of this book. Now look. I, John, am he who heard and saw these things. And when I heard and saw them, I fell down to worship at the feet of the angel who showed them to me. Why would he do that? Because John has seen heaven. He has seen the golden city. He's been shown all these things that's going to happen. And he's so overcome that what does he do? He goes to the messenger of God and he falls down before the angel and to worship at the feet. What's he doing? Worshipping an angel? Well, angels are bigger than us. Angels are bigger than us. No. Jesus was made for a little while lower than the angels. Now he's been given a name above every name. Right? Is John right or wrong? You be careful, because look what happens. But he said to me, you must not do that. I am a fellow servant with you and your brethren, the prophets, and with those who keep the word of this book. If that angel would not let John worship him, then there is no angel that will let you worship him. Do you believe that? If you believe that, you must rethink some of the things that we practice. We must rethink some of the things we practice, because we have houses full of cute little angels, and a lot of them are religious. You can go in the stores in America and you can buy the cutest little angels, and they do this and this, and everybody had a big thing. Little angels. Why do I need a little angel? They're not powerful, but the Son of God is protecting us. So what did he say to him in the last words? You can't escape it. When you tell the story of Jesus to people, you find out something. The man in John chapter 9 fell down and worshiped Jesus, and Jesus did not say, get up, I also am a man. He didn't say that. When his disciples fell down and worshiped him after he was resurrected, he did not say, get up, I'm also a man. When John, in the 21st chapter of the Gospel of John, whenever he tells us about, Thomas. When Thomas sees Jesus, and Jesus says, Thomas, all right, stretch forth your hand. Put him here. What did Thomas say? How was that? Ginogo Josko. Wow. Ginogo. Apo Kinjosko, my Lord and my God. Thomas, what do you think you're saying? I'm saying that this is my God. I have a right to worship Jesus, and I don't violate God's will. And I don't need any intermediators, because we got one, Masalaim, Isalam. He's the only mediator we need, because he's the Son. And if you talk to the Son, don't talk to the husband. Don't talk to the right. Okay. May we petition angels. If this angel would not accept adoration, why do you think Gabriel, Michael, and I thought there was somebody called Raphael. I don't find him in the Bible, but they call him Raphael. Will now allow us to worship and petition them? I know we petition San Miguel. In the Philippines, we like San Miguel, but that's not the San Miguel for religion. We got San Miguel for non-religion. It's our patron saint, San Miguel. But that's not the right thing to say. What's your answer, brethren? Huh? You did not see John's father falling down before Gabriel when he told him he was going to be a father. You did not see Maria falling down before St. Gabriel when he told her she was going to become pregnant. Right? Do you and I have a right to fall down in front of St. Gabriel? St. Michael? And I don't call him Simon. Maybe that's for another lesson, another lectureship. Okay. What do you all think? Isn't that interesting what we discovered here? Ah, we got one of the story. Cornelio and Pedro. Wow. Praying to San Pedro. Oh, Pedro, this is good, because he's the chief one. He's the hard head. He's the one that always got in trouble. Am I talking reverent about Brother Peter?
Yes.
He's a hard head. He always argued with Jesus. On the following day, Peter entered Caesarea. Cornelius was expecting them. And God had told this man to send for Peter. Was expecting them and had called together his relatives and close friends. When Peter entered, Cornelius met him, falling at his feet, paid him homage, adoration, reverence. And Peter raised him up, saying, get up! I myself am also a human being. But brethren, I kiss Pedro's toe. Well, let me ask you.
One line.
No, I want to know. Why didn't Peter let Cornelio worship him? He didn't even want Cornelius to respect him, because Peter knew that anything that Peter did, it was God doing it, not Peter. He had no credit coming to him. And he didn't want to take any. And he's been instructed by God. And so he won't let this man worship him. It came to pass that when Peter was coming in, Cornelius came to meet him. Cornelius came to meet him, and falling, I got this. This is the New Read version. I want you to see the way they say it again. This other one said, gave reference, right? Look what it says here. And falling down at his feet, what did he do? We make big arguments about dulia, latria, and reverence, and respect, and worship. That's a bunch of foolishness. If I fall down on my face in front of you, I'm saying you're bigger than me, you're great, and I might be saying I think you're divine. Okay? But see, that's the way they say it. Adore. You Greek speakers. Proskunesin. That means you fall on your face to worship. That's what he did. And Peter said, yeah, I'm a human being too. Anybody want to answer the question?
No.
If Pedro himself would not let you fall down in front of him to respect him, thinking you're taking something away from God and Jesus, do you think Pedro will let you fall down in front of a picture somebody thought was Pedro? I don't care if there is a rooster vine. That don't prove that's Peter. I'm not making fun of people's religion, but I'm asking you to think logically. We're supposed to be having a discussion about religion. Is it possible for me to fall down in front of Pedro? His face, where is Peter now? Resting. What else is he doing? Waiting. Where is he? With Jesus. You think Jesus is going to say, oh, Peter, go down there and take care of that for me? Does Jesus need Peter to go down and take care of something for him? No. Are we illogical, brethren? Where did we come to these things? And you know what we've done? We've got all, am I right? We fill our lives with all kinds of things that are not in the Bible and are not in our logic if we think about it. I'm not trying to make fun, but yep, I'm wrong. What do you think? Or do we think? Wow. Remember, by the way, this is my last point. Look there, we've got 6 more minutes. My last point. God does not share his glory with images. I am the Lord. This is my name. My glory I give to no other, nor my praise to idols. You are the most, sometimes you're the most troubled people because you believe this with all your heart and I do too. God does not give his glory to any other. But we are the ones who understand some things about God that nobody else does because we have the Bible. And it teaches us God created the world, right? But it also teaches that Jesus Christ is the one who created the world. And it also teaches that the agent that created the world was the Spirit of God, correct? And you and I say, oh yeah, I don't know, I don't understand, I'm just filled with wonder. And I am filled with a desire to adore. And I am filled with the willingness to worship the Father and the Son and the Spirit. But I am not willing to worship any of you that I love, because you're my brethren. And if you get to be the best person in the world and you die, I still will not pray for you. I know you'll be resting, you'll be waiting, and you'll be with Jesus, and he don't need your help. Huh? And if you're the people of God, who is your leader? Jesus. If he's, now what did I ask you? What are the last words in Matthew's Gospel? Behold, I am with you always, even to the end of the world. One question, Barry, you can have it. Did I hurt anyone's feelings tonight? Did I insult anybody tonight? And I apologize now, because I sometimes just say things to be funny. So, okay. Love you. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, so too.
Questions for tonight? You do fast and forward. We have a few minutes. We can have a couple of questions. Anyone have any questions for today? Okay. Any others? Any other questions? Okay. And Angela's maybe we have about 5 minutes.
This question I have a hard time answering because I want to be a New Testament Christian and join no church. So I can't answer it as if I'm a part of the church that it's asked about. Okay? Its question is, why do the Catholic priests teach and the doctrine that people who worship images?
That priest say that we don't put.
I think the doctrine is not that you worship the idol. The doctrine is usually said that you look at the idol to concentrate yourself so you can better. But let me tell you something. I can really concentrate better in writing my wife a particular letter if I have her picture in front of me. But I want to tell you, when she's sitting beside me, I am not going to look at a picture. You understand me? So I am not going to need a picture of Jesus when Jesus is with me for me to worship Jesus. And I will let anybody that wants to worship these saints, the angels, whatever, find that in the Bible. It's not there. I don't know if that's adequate, but that's true. The doctrine is that. The doctrine I don't think is practiced because in our hearts, as common ordinary people, we begin to think that certain images have power. Do we believe that? When I was here many years ago, down in Cavite, 2 priests got angry. You know what they did? They stole the Santo Niño. So they couldn't have a parade. But the question I had was, it's just a picture of Jesus. If they steal the black and white one, get a colored one. But the answer was, no, our doctrine is not what we say it is. It has to be that Santo Niño. If I could kidnap that Santo Niño, I could make them pay me for it. So, yes, doctrine is what you said, but practice is something more dangerous. And I think we all have to admit that. We don't want to admit it, we have to admit it. I do. Okay. Can you discuss Acts 17, 22, 23, the Sermon on Mars Hill by Paul? Yes. And tomorrow evening, because that's wonderful, because Brother Paul looks at all the idols they have there. And I'll try to get you a historical reference, because there actually was a time in Athens history when there was a plague they couldn't figure anything out. So what they did was they made an altar and they made an offering to the God they didn't know.
Yeah.
And it was effective. Brother Paul said, I'm going to tell you that. 1 Kings 17, 7 through 23. The fall, was it? Yeah, the fall of Israel is due to idolatry. Amen. That's the history thing. And the one thing the Jews learned in captivity, and what was that? Never, ever make an idol again. You read Ezekiel, and Ezekiel said, I looked and you're cheating, you're hiding. I'm way over here in the land of captivity, and I know the priests in Jerusalem are going into a secret room, and they're worshiping the sun and the stars in heaven, and outside they're pretending that they want to worship God. All right, one last one. Are we made to believe that Christianity is not different from Christianity in the modern times? Yes. How do you account for the advanced technology where you have access to information in the internet around the world just at clasp your finger? Man has become complex. Man has been complex, but man is not so complex in one area. What's the area he's not complex? You can have all the information in the world and you can still be the worst sinner in the world. And that has not changed. And it's wonderful that we have this instant information. But we can be taught lies as fast as we can be taught the truth on the internet. And you better be careful. Because you can be perverted as well as uplifted on the internet. The speed of getting information does not change the character of man. So the principles that Jesus Christ came to instill and for us to imbibe have not changed. And if it be true that we can get those things quicker now, we ought to rejoice. But as we rejoice, we ought to use those to do what? We better be complex to being good rather than being complex to being bad. That may not be adequate, but that's what I see. Third, very good.